I always took the same Uber home after work, 8:45 p.m., 15 minutes, nothing special. But that night, I never actually made it home. It was a Thursday. I pulled a double shift and barely made it out of the office. My feet ached, my head pounded, and I hadn't eaten since noon. The app showed Mike as my driver to 4.9 stars, over 2,000 trips. Seemed reliable. I slid into the back seat, mumbled ahead, and immediately leaned my head against the window. Perfect. I closed my eyes. The car smelled faintly of fast food and one of those pine tree air fresheners. I called my usual Uber, a silver Honda Civic, license plate ending in 432. When he pulled up, I barely looked at him. I checked the route on the app, 15 minutes home. I don't know how long I slept, but when I woke up, we were still driving, and I didn't recognize anything outside. The streetlights were gone. The city skyline had vanished. We were on a narrow road flanked by trees, their branches clawing at the car like they wanted to drag it into the woods. I sat up quickly. Hey, where are we? The driver didn't answer. Seriously, man, pull over. I'll call someone else. Mike, I think you missed my exit. I leaned forward slightly. Still no response. My phone was in my lap. I picked it up. The GPS in the Uber app just showed a grey screen. My location dot wasn't even moving. No signal. Even though I'd clearly been in the car for way longer. Not one bar dot, no Wi-Fi. But it was like the car was sealed tight, like my voice didn't even fill the space inside it. Every time I tried to mark a tree or branch with my eyes, it melted into the blackness like it had never been there. I swallowed hard. He finally spoke, in a low, gravelly voice that wasn't the same one I remembered from the start. You shouldn't have slept. I froze. What? He didn't answer. Child lock. His teeth looked too long, like they weren't made for chewing but tearing. If I couldn't get out, I'd at least document this, maybe stream it. But as soon as I switched to selfie mode, I tried the other side. Same thing. I looked at the rear view mirror. His eyes weren't on the road. They were locked on me. Let me out, I said. Now, pale, smiling, staring straight into the lens. No reaction. I reached for the door handle, but it wouldn't budge. I looked back at my phone. The time had stopped. 8:57 p.m. It was still 8:57. The trees outside seemed to blur as we moved faster, too fast for this kind of road. I started yelling, screaming, reeling, demanding to be let out. That's when I noticed the meter on the dashboard. It wasn't money. It was a countdown. 0 hours to minutes and 15 seconds, then 0 hours to minutes and 14 seconds, 0 hours to minutes and 13 seconds. It was counting down in seconds. What happens when that hits 0? I shouted. The driver grinned, just a flicker in the mirror. I did the only thing I could think of. I grabbed my phone and opened the camera. There was someone sitting next to me. I screamed and spun toward the passenger side, but the seat was empty. I looked back at my phone. The face was still there. It opened its mouth and whispered something I couldn't hear. The timer hit 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds, and everything stopped. When I opened my eyes again, I was in the back of the same car, parked outside my apartment. The driver was gone. My phone was working. The time said 8:59 p.m. 15 minutes exactly. I stumbled out of the car and ran into my building, barely remembering to look over my shoulder. The car was still there, but the license plate no longer ended in 432. I've checked the app. There's no record of the trip, no driver named Mike in my history. Sometimes, late at night, I hear tires crunching outside my apartment window, and when I check my photos deep in my gallery, between normal selfies and screenshots, I find blurry images of a dark road, a dashboard timer, and a pale face smiling in the seat beside me.